Are you serious? Are you serious? Well, we are very serious today, and I want to welcome you to another great edition of the Coming Apocalypse today. This is all about, looks like Joe's tax America plan. Is it a Green New Deal or is it not? I think if you watched the debate last night between Vice President Mike Pence and Senator Kamala Harris, you've seen a stark contrast, a major difference in philosophy, maybe more than I've ever seen, because I think we're dealing with the most liberal left agenda we've ever seen on a presidential ticket. And we're going to find out if that's exactly, if I'm correct on this. I know Harris was elected the most liberal senator in all of Washington, and Joe's trying to stay somewhere in the center, but we're going to find out. I mean, really, what does this mean for you? And if you're a trader, what does this all mean if you're trading? And the best guy to get for this is the expert, and that's from Trade Genius Academy, Bob Kudla. Bob, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing good, Paul. You got me out of bed for this one.
I know it. I'm very sorry about that. Well, you're an early riser. You're an early trader. I mean, the bell has just rang and you're going already. So, and with that awesome system you got, it's the early bird that catches the worm, right?
Yeah, I was kidding. I've been up for hours. So I think, what people need to take a step back here. They get caught up in the minutia, but really what this election really is all about is that is the United States a sovereign nation, and is our nation a nation of laws? So, Biden, forget Green New Deal. He promised that he would commit us to the Paris Accord, which basically rips out sovereignty and then also provides taxation to foreign governments to spend at their leisure, and they might be even competitors of ours like China and India and even some European nations that will be able to tap into our largesse because the treaty will bind us into these payments. The second thing they did was they said that you can't, basically, if you come across the border, you're in and you're good. So we'll lose our borders and we'll lose our sovereignty over our fiscal, how we manage our economy and how we tax and spend. Just those two things alone, if people just would get out of their own myopic, what's in it for me, don't realize that they're walking into a lobster trap. They see the goodies dangling from the hook, and once they walk in, they're never going to get out of this. They're going to then pack the court. They're going to add two new state entities, and they're going for broke here, Paul. So, and then if you look at inside the cities themselves, is they basically want to get rid of bail, and then the prosecutorial discretion, meaning that depending on what political party you're part of, you can commit crimes at will and only suffer the inconvenience of a temporary arrest before you're set back out on the street to continue your political activity for the Democratic Party. And so I just wish, I know Trump's really good at doing quick sound bites, but they need to say it in those clear terms to people. Oh, and then also we'll lose our energy independence. I mean, I don't understand. There's nothing good in any of this. And I don't really understand it. If you're a Democrat listening, tell me why that should appeal to you. If you're Hispanic, the last thing I want to do is have competition for my hard-earned wages go away because they're going to flood the zone into my neighborhoods, make them less safe. If I'm African American, I'm bringing in Hispanics that are going to compete for jobs. Why would I be excited about that? And also, I'm going to put the predators back in your streets. If you're white America, we're used to being the evil of the root of all evil. So, that's just going to get worse and worse. And then they've been playing around with this thing called the Pandemic Lockdown Emergency Powers Act. So now they could declare an emergency over anything. What's to prevent Biden saying climate change is an emergency? So we're going to take total control over the economy to place initiatives into action to achieve ends to save the world. I mean, we're going down. I mean, literally, it's a light switch. So it's just mind-boggling to me that anybody would think this is a good idea to let a senile man have access to the nuclear football, or a giggling child, a petulant child, as his reserve quarterback. I mean, amazing to me. Simply amazing to me. Journalistic malpractice on the part of our news media.
You know, last night, as you bring up all these major points that was not even really addressed, I was thinking about the moderator last night, the softball questions that were being thrown up there. You know, it was incredible to me that the foreign policy questions was, you know, we just need to build relationships. You have some of the worst, most brutal weapons in the history of mankind being built around the world with guns pointed at each other. It's more than relationships. You have to be strong. You have to be protected. And then, you know, as you said, there was just this free college for the first 2 years for everybody. I don't know. And then the Green New Deal, which was the same one as AOC's. And I didn't even know that Kamala Harris actually was co-sponsor to that. And it's still on their website. So they say, no, we're not, but that's what they're going to do. The Paris Accord is the same thing as the Green New Deal. So you've mentioned all the things here. And the lawlessness, I think you just brought up a great point. The literal, when you do away with no bail, this thing is going to turn into a lawless society, high tax. It's going to be worse than France. You know, France is upset. The Yellow Vest protests that went on for almost a year was about the high taxation. They're the highest tax nation in the world. High taxation, high immigration, high frustration. We're gonna crash through that within the first year. And let me ask you a question, because through all of this Corona situation, the president has been handcuffed he had the greatest economy going in the world, in the history of the world. And then, of course, this virus that he still thinks is a bioweapon. I think it is a bioweapon, but can't prove it. But he definitely blames it all on China. And so I guess my question is to you, he did do what he thought he had to do, listening to 15 different voices in his head from everybody around him to try to save lives and save the economy. And it looks like the V recovery's on, but now they're talking about another shutdown, and Biden, if he's elected, will definitely shut it down. So what does this mean for the market going forward? How do somebody navigate their way through the market during these times?
Yeah, so I mean, right now the market's saying Trump's going to win. So hopefully that plays out. The stock market is usually a good barometer going into the fall, whether they think the incumbent's going to win, or if the challenger is going to win. And so I think if the smart people know exactly what I just described in the beginning, and they're not going to sit still. You know, they're going to position, you know, for maximizing their profit or maximizing their safety. And you know, we're pushing up again, trying to get to the highs again. So I think people are thinking that we're just going to keep grinding out of this, and that we should have status quo in the political system. So let's assume I'm right for a second. Is that Trump wins the presidency, the Senate stays Republican, and actually Pelosi will lose some House seats. That's my view at the moment.
Wow.
And just to be status quo. But let's say I'm wrong. Excuse me a second. Let's say I'm wrong for a second. And, you know, Biden wins, but the Senate stays Republican. It's just going to be absolute chaos, because the only thing that he's going to be able to do is just reverse executive orders and come up with crazy ones that's just going to cause mass confusion. And I think there'll be civil disobedience on the right at that point, because you know the real true power in the country are the sheriffs, okay, and the DAs. And so, if a sheriff decides not to arrest you, okay, the only people that can come in would be the feds, right? And so if the DA decides not to prosecute you, the feds will have to come in and try to invent some civil rights, actions against you. So there's going to be, I think, a lot of pushback. And if they try to do anything with guns, then I think people are just going to ignore that. Now, if they sweep the Senate, then I think we'll be in a full-on depression in probably 6 to 9 months, because there's going to be so much what I would call revenge legislation out there that Biden's not going to be able to oppose it. He's too weak, and I think the markets aren't going to like it at all, and it's going to probably drop the market and the economy quite a bit. So our play right now is that we're still trading to the long side, and we've been buying dips, and when you get a little bit overbought here, we've been selling rips a little bit, but we're still playing it from the long side. But coming into the election, we'll be since we're traders, we have the luxury of going to cash, and then we're just going to kind of watch and see. There'll probably be some sort of turmoil for a week or two, I would imagine, unless Trump decisively wins this thing, and then we'll play it out. A lot of people are saying, "Hey, if the Green New Deal happens, we're going to have all these opportunities." Well, I owned a solar company for 14 years. People think we'll just buy green energy companies. They're not profitable enterprises. They're low margin businesses. So, I think people are going to be really disappointed. And they talk about the jobs that are coming. Most of the manufacturing is done outside the United States. And, and getting workers to do this work, it's hard work. I don't think any of those snowflakes that were working at Starbucks where those jobs are gone are going to want to get on roofs. We had a hard time hiring people. Well, we get them on a roof for one day, they wouldn't come back the second day, and we paid extremely well, because people don't like to work hard, they don't like to be sweaty, it's beneath them. And this whole idea about we're going to give 2 years of college away for free, well, we can't even employ the people that have 4-year degrees now, because the degrees are pretty much worthless. And I think people are going to have to get used to the notion that you're going to have to get back into manufacturing and factory work, in terms of you want to make a good living again. But people are not going to want to get on, they're not going to want to get on the roofs. And this work is hard work, hard work. And so I'd be shocked if this thing's going to come out. And look, last time we did this thing, every company that they try to do this with that had government subsidies failed. Evergreen Solar, Solyndra, those are the two biggest ones. I mean, they pumped $1 billion into these companies, and all they did was line the pockets of the investors, and the people never made any money from it. So look, I haven't traded a solar stock in 6 years, so that should tell you everything you need to know about what I feel about the industry. Southern California, we're saturated. That's the other thing people don't realize, is that there's solar belt, there's wind belt, okay? There's tidal belt. If you're in the Northeast, putting solar on your house is a waste of money. So natural gas is by far the cheapest, and nuclear. Out here in Southern California, it basically goes from Denver to San Francisco, down to the Mexican border, and down to the Mexican border on the California side. That's the solar square. And beyond that, there's not enough sun to make it worth your while. And then there's the wind belt. But, both these are intermittent energy sources. So I just think that people are going to be sorely disappointed. And the only people who are going to make money from this is going to be the investors that are the Democrats that have been sponsoring this. This notion of we're going to weather strip buildings. Most people are working from home now, and people are not going to want to go back to the cities if a DA declares that it's going to be a no bail. And here's the other thing too: trucking companies aren't going to come in. So the truckers are going to say, look, if it's unsafe for me to go into a city because that it's going to cause even more turmoil for people. So we're just going to look for opportunities. I think we don't really care. If I was truly just a marketing trader that just didn't care about the outcomes, there'll be plenty of opportunities for us. So there's always a bull market somewhere. We're in the lemonade business, so give us a lemon, we'll find the lemonade, and there'll be tremendous opportunities. From 1929 to 1932, when there was a depression, a lot of millionaires were created. So you just have to know that the hockey puck is moving, and you got to move with it. Now living your life, I think it's beyond the scope of my interview with you, but I think people are already voting with their feet. Out here in California, people are moving from blue counties to red counties, and then people are moving out of California. They're moving out of Portland. They're moving out of Seattle, and everybody's moving inland. They're moving to Nevada, Arizona, Boise, and even western South Dakota, Rapid City, and the town that has the big motorcycle event. That area is beautiful country, and you're starting to see people gravitate. Wyoming and South Dakota are both tax-free, state taxes. Tennessee, you're seeing big in-migration near Florida, and I think you're going to see that continue. So that's where Texas, that's where the opportunities lie. Is if you're economically oriented, that's where you're going to want to think about moving. And if you're a trader, we'll be moving out of tech stocks for sure. They're gonna get hammered. And one thing that both the left and the right both agree on is that the social media companies are too powerful. I just don't think we agree on the solution, but they'll probably be broken up. And I think it's going to cause a lot of turmoil for people that are trading NASDAQ stocks. And then I think, they're going to try to rescue the market by putting a lot of things into commodities. And so you'll see all kinds of crazy stimulus and infrastructure bills, no matter who wins. And so that's where we'll be putting our money once those things get ready to get approved. And so that's how we're trading it. And, we're doing quite well. The light switch changed in August, which we expected. We went from a grind 'em up market to now a little bit more two-way action. That's going to continue all the way through to election day. And then we'll either going to go status quo or radical departure.
So this is a great analogy you just put together here. Folks, Trade Genius Academy. You can pick up the phone and call and get started. You need to understand that the playing field could change radically according to the election. So pick up the phone and call 1-800-949-1408. That's 1-800-949-1408. Bob, as you just talked about there, it depends how the landscape shapes out. And one thing, folks, in a short term, and I know you're running a Columbus Day sale right now. Brock, if you put that on the screen again for us, because I think this is important. People, seriously, you're going to need to get in control of your own destiny. Some of you are going to become entrepreneurs, whether you out of necessity, because of the market you're in or the job industry you're in will die. Because, for instance, if you're into fracking, if Biden wins, it's over. Which is going to change the energy. They're going to throw billions of dollars into green energy, which will fail. The only guys that's going to make money are the lobbyists that's been paying for the Democrat campaigns. We already know this. We've seen this is a replay of Obama, but it's really Obama 3.0. Okay, it's something beyond. It was supposed to have been Hillary, and then you would have got the Biden crowd. Instead, you're going to skip the Hillary thing and just do a free fall off the cliff on some crazy radical stuff on the green energy. So again, Columbus Day sale going on right now, as we were just showing you. Bob Kudla. Bob, if the election, and right now they say Biden's ahead nationally by 8%. I'm struggling with those polls. I don't even believe them. But we heard this saying before. last time around, but we're probably not going to get a winner on November 3rd. We probably won't know who's the winner on December 3rd. We might know who's the winner on January 3rd. So can you tell us, during that 2 months of absolute no-go zone, is it still a good time to trade? Is there going to be some winners, losers, and opportunities right during that 60-day window if this thing is a mess?
Oh my gosh, it'll be like taking candy from a baby. Everything will be news oriented. Look, I shot you some attaboys. Those are the last 4 trades we took. 2 of those days the market was radically down. So so just we don't really care about the news. Our system just looks at price momentum. And on Friday, when Trump was going into the hospital, our system was saying, hey, by the end of the day, because Monday the market's going to be up. The market was radically higher. And then again on Tuesday, our system was saying, hey, this market looks overbought. They're going to dump it. And then we were ready for a lift up yesterday. So, and that's what it's going to be like. We call it the army market, left, right, left, right, left, right. So it's just going to swing up and down based on news. And a lot of that news is generated news.
It's emotion, and also, and you say the left right way of trading the army market. So your system will give the tips out to to the investors out here who are trading, I should say traders. And so your system will be saying, get ready, now move, buy, sell, buy, and really, you can feel it based on the emotion, a lot of fake news and emotion. Is that right?
Well, we actually looked at the price action, which is basically a collection of, emotion and trader sentiment. And so, our system just has alerts in it. So either I'm calling the trades out and sending them out, or you can set your own alerts for stuff that you like to trade. And then it'll actually send an alert to you. So, you don't have to rely on Bob the guru. We'll teach you how the system works, and you can trade on your own using our system. And saying, hey, we have a change, we have a reversal coming in this stock or that stock, and then you just take a quick look at it and say, yeah, it's trending the right way. I got the alert and taking the trade. And that's how we do it. And sometimes it looks counterintuitive, but we don't argue with price action. What people don't realize is they use news to move you out of position, and so that the big money can get it cheaper. But we see it in the price action, and we just wait for the price action. We basically saying, hey, we're like seagulls. The big money is lurking underneath, bringing the bait fish to the surface. We see that turn, we feast with them, and then we fly away. And they do all the hard work of bringing the fish up. And that's how the system works. And it's just a really good system. And this system I've been trading forever, and consistent, over the years. I've been recording the last 30 months of trades, on the website. People are free to look at them. They're locked in on text and telegram, so people know when their trades are happening. And, you can't argue with the results, so as long as you use the system and you obey those rules, you're going to make money. And we really don't care. If the market starts to go down, there's things we can trade. The market goes up, there's things we can trade. If the dollar goes up, there's things we can trade. If the dollar goes down, there's a lot of things we can trade. So it's just a matter of knowing the environment, knowing what you like to trade, set the alerts, get in the chat room, listen to the trades that we're putting on, and you're gonna make money over time. You're gonna do very well.
It seems, Bob, and what's your thoughts on gold, silver, and Bitcoin? We talked to some of the other guys out there, and where they focus more on precious metals, where you're focused more on trade. But does gold and silver prices, which are up right now, and do you see them continuing to go up, or that just if Trump wins, does gold keep going up or go down? If Biden wins, does gold go sky high or does it fall? What's going to happen? Yeah,
so I think it's out of the politicians' hands. If if they don't keep spending, Paul, the whole gig is up. Okay, so they're going to keep pumping $1 trillion of deficit spending a quarter. Okay, and that's going to, at some point, it's just going to create too much velocity and money out there, and that's what's going to propel gold and silver further. People buy Bitcoin because of the lack of trust in the banking system. They tend to operate together. And even if our dollar goes higher, because people are looking for our dollar to crash, people need to just set that aside. We're the world reserve currency. The dollar is going nowhere. Okay, it is going to be the reserve currency, for the next 40 to 50 years, unless somebody else comes up with a better military. Okay, people are going to be using dollars. I don't care what anybody says about, we're going to go to gold this or Bitcoin that. It's going to be the dollar, but that doesn't mean gold and silver, platinum and palladium cannot rise with that. Now, the difference between me and the people that are selling gold and silver is I trade the miners against those positions. So I get leveraged 4 to 8 times. If you buy gold and it goes up 10%, but if you buy a gold miner and gold goes up 10%, I'm up 40%. Okay, and if I'm using options, I could be up 100 to 200.
Great point right there. You don't just operate off the precious metal, you operate off the miners. And folks, again, go to tradegeniusacademy.com. That's www.tradegeniusacademy.com. Or you can pick up the phone and call Bob at 1-800-949-1408. That's 1-800-949-1408. I'll tell you something. Bob he is a genius. He don't want to say that, but his system has been incredible. Everyone that's involved in it have loved the money they're making and the opportunities that it's giving them and the freedom it's giving you to be in control of your own destiny with some support. Chat rooms you have, Bob, and this deal. Again, this Columbus Day deal. Check this out, guys. Brock puts it on the screen again. We want to show you this again. I think there's some of you who need to start. Look at this, the deal of the month, the basic annual stock market ETF, cryptocurrency, the binary options, the buy-sell signal service, the chat room, all of that, the blue ribbon trading indicator software. Look at this. This is a great deal to get you going, and Bob can teach you from a dead start and get you started. As you learn, you'll be able to invest and follow their leads. And Bob, I'm thinking you're going to see quite a few new players in the next 60 days. New folks are going to join up. I'm encouraging people to join up with your company this month.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it. Also, we've had the more new businesses start in the last 60 days than we had in the last 5 years. So, that's the beautiful thing about Americans is that, I think we adjust well. And so, people lose their jobs. The gig economy is real, and I don't think that's going anywhere. Technology is look, you and I couldn't do what we're doing 10 years ago, and I think this is only going to get better. Companies are realizing that, a just-in-time workforce or a remote workforce or, actually serve both people very well. People are very productive from home. I've been working from home even when I had a corporate executive job since 1996. You don't lose productivity. You know what's expected of you, and you get the work done. In some cases, you work longer than you're supposed to. In other cases, you have the flexibility to go see your kid's soccer game. And then trading's the ultimate freedom, as long as you put the hours in that are required, to make the money that you want to make, then, the rest of the time's yours. There's a lot of guys that day trade. We're not necessarily a day trading system, but our system can do day trades. and we have a group called the VIP group that does nothing but day trade, is that a lot of these guys are done an hour or two after the market opens, and they're done for the day. They close up and they're gone, and they made their money. And so it's really the best way ultimately to make money if you're willing to put the time in the beginning to build your capital and to learn the rules. People don't realize, if you make $100 a day in a market, which is very doable, that's $20,000 a year. The average person in the country makes $45,000. That's $225 a day in the market. Within 2 years from a dead start, by following a system, like ours, and putting in the work and having the discipline to follow it, you could be making that. And so it's just a matter of wanting it. And like I said, look, this is my business suit right here. Okay. I was an IBM blue suit, red tie guy. I didn't work for IBM. I worked for a company that IBM sold to our company, but that's what we wore their uniform for 22 years, and nothing like not having to put a suit on every day and stumbling downstairs to get working is a nice way to go.
Bob Kudla, folks. Bob Kudla, TradeGeniusAcademy.com. That's Bob Kudla at TradeGeniusAcademy.com. You see the results. Again, pick up the phone, call him at 1-800-949-1408. Bob, we appreciate it today. It was a great educational understanding of the time we're in here in America, how it affects the markets, and ultimately how it affects you. So thank you, Bob, for being with us today.
Yeah, thank you. And then, ultimately God's in charge. So either he's going to continue with Trump or we're going to get Nebuchadnezzar. So just remember, just trust God and you'll be okay.
Amen to that. Praise God. All right. You're right. Trust in the Lord, folks, with all your heart. All right. God bless you, Bob. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Paul.
Guys.